bear with me for a few minutes. Uh, I need to talk about this. I work with the public every day, and I think it's really important to help people to understand something. In this day that's crazy, it's hard to know exactly what's going on, and I think it's really important for people to really understand where we are, and more importantly, where we're going with regard to this whole coronavirus thing. But I want to do it in a way that isn't just sharing my opinion. I want to break down the actual numbers that I have seen, give a practical example, and I want to show kind of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going in the next few weeks because I think it's really important for people to understand that we are just in the beginning of this and it is going to get worse before it gets better. I think that most people don't understand how illness spreads. It doesn't spread 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't even spread, 5, 10, 15, or 10, 20, 30. It's not counting. Disease spreads by doubling. So instead it's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. We call that exponential growth, but don't worry about what it's called. It's doubling. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's doubling. And the thing about things that grow that way, exponential growth, are is that they seem at the beginning to be really small, insignificant. Like it's real gradual, and then very quickly it goes up. It snowballs. And I want to illustrate that to you guys by using the practical example of where I live. I live in Tarrant County, Texas. Fort Worth is the county seat of Tarrant County. That's where I don't live in Fort Worth, but I live in Tarrant County. You might be more familiar with Dallas and Dallas County, which is a big neighbor. But I live here, so I'm gonna use where I live. These aren't just theoretical numbers. This is where I live. Uh, Tarrant County officially recorded its first case of coronavirus on March 10th. As of the time of recording, that was 17 days ago. That was the first case. All right. Today, at the end of the day, we are around 120 cases, give or take, probably a little bit more than 120 by the end of the day. Remember, this is an illness. This illness grows by doubling itself. So I want you to think about going from the 1 on March 10th to 17 days later, 120. In order to get from 1 to 120, the number of cases has had to double 7 times. I don't want you to do the math, we'll do it together. The first time it doubles, it goes to 2, 4, 6. No, sorry, that's not right. That's counted by twos. It's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. That's 5 times. 32, 64, and 128. Really close to where we are right now. That's 7 doublings in 17 days to go from 1 case to 120 something cases. Now, that's 17 days, doubled 7 times. That means that about, give or take an hour or two, every 2.5 days, the number of cases in Tarrant County has doubled. Now, it's not that important to know 2.5 days or the math of how I got that. The only reason to even put that number out there at 2.5 days is that is a pretty standard rate. That is the rate that the entire country is at. It doubles every about 2.5 days. Other counties, other countries, at this stage of the outbreak, the growth for this disease seems to be about a doubling of every 2.5 days. Every disease is different. Some diseases, like the measles, can double like in the matter of hours. Some diseases double every 5 to 10 days. This one is about 2.5 days. And I point that out because I want you to know that Tarrant County is not below average or above average. It is normal. It is a normal growth rate for everywhere. That is normal. So when I go on, I want you to understand that this is normal and you can probably use it for where you live too if you don't live here. Okay? So it's important to know in the last 17 days, the number of cases has doubled 7 times. Now, today's an important day because 17 days from now is Easter, April 12th. Think about that. If the growth rate continues at the same rate, goes from 120 and continues to double. Today, 120 doesn't sound like very much. I mean, Tarrant County is a big county, and you're like, 100 cases, that's like nothing. But this is where it gets interesting. If it grows at the same rate, doubling every 2.5 days, it will double another 7 times before we get to Easter. So we can do that. It's 120, right? 220. 240, 480, etc., 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 till you get to the 7th doubling. Over 15,000 cases. So, it took 17 days to go from 1 to 120. In the next 17 days, it'll go from 120 to over 15,000 cases. You can see where this is going. Things aren't going to be getting better in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever that is. Things are going to be getting, that's when things are going to be getting bad. At a very conservative mortality rate of about 1%, which is sort of what we're seeing in my area overall, somewhere between 1 and 2. It's 200 deaths. Here's the thing though, 15,000 cases, that's more than the hospitals can handle, which means that there will be people that aren't able to be treated. They're going to be triaging. They won't be able to treat everybody. So the mortality rate probably will be higher than that. So we could have more than that, but let's say 200. That's pretty amazing. And if that's not high enough for you, let's add one more week onto that. So the week after Easter, if the rates continue at 2.5, or doubling every 2.5 days, 1 week after Easter, it will have doubled 2 times at least, almost 3 times. We're talking over 60, somewhere between 60 and 100,000 cases in the next 25 days. Now, I hope that the rate of growth doesn't grow that much. I hope that sometime in the next few weeks, around Easter, that we start seeing that rate drop off. And so then it only doubles every 3 days, every 5 days. It will continue to grow for a while, even after it starts to smooth out. But I just want everybody to really understand what exponential growth means. And that things are going to get worse, excuse me, before they get better. That we need to be ready for this to last a very long time. And I know we want to get back, but the numbers just don't show it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I got something wrong or if there's something else you want to, add to this. But there you go. Everybody have a good night. Thanks.